Okay, welcome everybody. We're live here on Twitch. I was going to call it Stitch. I'm going to have a quick look here at creating a Drupal theme and then more specifically creating a sub-theme. I'm looking at the idea here of what you might call something I phrase an Anartech, think like an agency. So the idea that you have a base theme and then you can sub-theme from that base theme without having a huge overhead. Now, this isn't something that we've actually used ourselves yet. It's kind of a proof of concept approach that I'm looking at developing, and it's basically based around the idea of CSS variables, which don't work obviously in IE11, and the sub-theme, let's say, might not work in IE11. So I'm gonna see if I have an idea for what we can do to support IE11 in the short term while we're waiting to eventually get rid of that dinosaur. So let's start off with creating a theme for ourselves here. So we'll come into web themes. I got one here, custom/weatherlab. That's our starter kit theme. We use an Anartech. So I'm going to create a new one here. I'm going to call it marky/marky.info.yaml. So this is just to create the actual theme information file. So we'll have our base set up. No matter how many times I create a theme, I can never remember exactly what I need in this part here. Okay, so we need this. It's going to be called Marky as the theme. The type is a theme. Description is, we call it a base theme that we can override. And the base theme we're going to use here, I'm going to actually use classy for this just because I want the extra classes just now. It'll save us copying a few templates and things. Okay, so that should be enough. That should give us a new base theme for ourselves. Let's come here. We'll clear the cache. Where am I gone? Home. I don't have admin toolbar installed. That's it. Okay, let's get that. Admin toolbar. I want the admin toolbar. I want the extras. I want these. And I think I might get the vel while I'm this far, and that should be enough. Okay, we're nearly there. So what I've installed is just a demo umami, so we'll have some demo content. When I set classy as our base theme, we're going to end up not having any of these styles. So what I might do is just grab, let me just clear the cache here while this is happening. We're not going to have the same regions that umami has. So let's just grab the regions from umami and we'll pop them into our new theme as well. So themes, no, this is in profiles. Demo umami themes and umami.info.yaml. So these are the regions that are in demo umami. Just so we have the same ones as things like content bottom doesn't exist in classy, and pre-header and things like that. So we have those now, and we'll pop them into here. Now I might need to clear the cache a second time actually to get those new regions to be available for ourselves, and this means then that at least the blocks that are placed in umami will also be in the same regions, even though the CSS won't work for us in our new marquee theme. So let's go to extend, go to appearance, and I'm going to install the theme called marquee, this one here. Okay, that's installed. So now we've got umami and we've got marquee installed, and I'm going to set marquee as default. Now, as I said, all the CSS will be gone because we won't have any CSS from the umami profile anymore. Okay. All I want to actually show here now is creating, say, a header, and then how we might create a subheader. So the proof of concept I'm kind of working on, or I've been kind of formulating in my mind recently, is let's have a look at well, we'll go with some CSS. So inside here, I'm going to create a new file called CSS. And inside I'm going to create one called, well, it's called components. And inside that I'll call it header.css. Okay. Now let's see what we have for classes here. classes. Let's see, we've got a header, region header. Okay, well, we'll go with that. I'll just make things a little bit quicker for us. So region header, I'm going to say the background. Now this is going to be very ugly. I just want to make things kind of work. I don't really care how good or bad it looks just now. I'm going to say the background is aqua on this. I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to need to create a library file. So that is a new file here. So marquee.libraries.yaml. And we're going to call this library will be header, and the CSS paths for this will be on the team level, and it will be at css/components/header.css, and it's got no extra properties or attributes. Okay, so now we save that, and we need to call this header.css somewhere, don't we? So let's actually I'm gonna create a header template. I like templates. So this is going to be template/header template/region -header.html.twig. Okay, and what is in region.html.twig? So if we come here to classy templates layout, and we'll copy this into our header region here. So now it's the exact same as what we get here in classy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a class here for a header. So we'll have a header with a class of header, and I'm going to change this div here from a div to a header. So I think it's better semantics for us. Besides that, we're looking at the same markup as what we have in classy. Okay, let's clear this cache now for a second, or well, for the rest of the life of this website. Okay, so we should have a header element now here, and we don't. Core teams, classy templates, layout, region, header, region -- header. Let's see what the issue is with that. Region, look, we spelled it wrong. Okay, so region -- header. Now we clear the cache again. And now we should have a header. Live coding, what can go wrong? Here we go. Header with a class of header, region header. Okay, so let's have a look now at our CSS here. So we said CSS.region header background aqua, and that hasn't shown up. If we change this to .header background aqua, I'm going to guess it still won't show up, even if we clear the cache. And I know this is very much Drupal 101 of for teaming on how to do something like this, but let's, it's good to continuously make these mistakes and see what's happening. So if it's not working, what we need to do is we've created this library here called header. We need to attach that library to our region header. So library will be called marquee/header, and now we should get our aqua background. We do. I like that. And I'm going to next say, and again, let's not worry about how this actually looks. We don't care how it looks. We just want it to work, because the proof of concept I have, I think, is pretty interesting. So I'm going to say then that the padding on the header is going to be we'll go with, say, 2 REMs and 0. So there's no padding on the left or the right. And we might say that the coding standard, that would be at the top. I would say that there's a max weight, let's say, of 960 pixels, and there's a margin left auto, and setting margin right auto should come first. Margin right auto. Okay, so now we should have a max 960 pixels and center aligned with padding of 2 rems on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right, and an aqua background. So let's have another look. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm going to say next then that the .header, how far down do we go? I want to put the menu on the right hand side. Okay, let's see now. So we're going to go to okay, just one level. That's nice. Okay, so dot header. Come back up here again. So the display of this is going to be flex, and then we've got that. This is called navigation menu dash dash main. That's actually a class that we've created ourselves, so you won't find that in Drupal. Do you know, I might just do this a little bit simpler. I'm going to say dot header dot nav. So dot header nav. So I don't like styling by elements here, but just to keep us moving. Margin left auto. So this should push the margin, the navigation from here across to the right hand side. Okay, because it's put as much margin as it possibly can between itself and our branding block. We're missing, of course, the logo, but we won't worry about that again. So that looks good. And this code here is going to work in IE11 all the way up as far as well, anything at all really, all our modern browsers. So the next thing I want to look at then is I'd rather use CSS variables for these. They're more powerful than just colors like this and or properties like this, and we can then subteam using those variables. So what I would do is something like here in CSS, I'm going to create a lib / variables.css file. So inside this library here, or lib directory, variables.css, I'm going to say that we've got root, and I'm going to say dash dash spacing. So we're going to create a variable called spacing, and spacing is going to be 1 rem. And then I'm going to have one called accent. Well, I call it color accent, and we'll say that color accent here is going to be aqua, which is what we have. I think is it here? Oh, QUA. The reason I'm putting the word color before is because I want all my variables, all my color wants to be side by side, and my spacing wants to be side by side, want my font wants to be side by side, and things like that. I'm going to say font default is, let's just go with serif for now, and font alternative can be sans serif. What other items do we have in here? We've got margins are auto width. Okay, so we'll call it a layout max width, I guess. Yeah, and we'll say 960 pixels. That probably should be done in ems or something as well. Okay, that looks good enough for now. Yeah, so then what we can say then is that the padding here, instead of being 2 rem, would be calc var dash dash spacing times 2 and 0. Is that oh god, I'm mixing up something here now. Sorry, yeah, that was right. And the background color here can be var dash dash, what do we call this one? Color accent. The max width will be var dash dash layout max width. And I think that's all I need for that. Now if I need to add my variables then as a library as well. So I'm going to create that up here called variables CSS base and CSS / lib. Oops, front end padding call. I should probably turn off my notifications and things. Do not disturb for 1 hour. /CSS / lib / variables.css, and again no extra properties in that. Okay, and I want these variables to be available on every single page across the website. So I'm going to put these inside inside my info.yaml file. So I'm going to call libraries marquee / variables. I think that's good enough. And flush the caches. Invalid arguments supplied for each Drupal handler add theme. I have no idea what's going on here. Let's see. Let me check what I have in starter kit. Am I missing something? Weather lab. So I think I need that. I'll go again. Invalid argument supplied for each. Let's clear the cache. Okay, so that works. The CSS at least is up here. Let's just check that the color is now using. Yep, there. Now, why do we have this error? Core extension theme handler add theme. Admin toolbar. Admin toolbar, twig. Twig.loader.file system. I'm not exactly sure why that is there. But I do see we got a header now inside a header, so we probably should change that. Do you know, I might leave it for now. I know it's not semantically correct really to have it like this, but I might leave it for now. But in our page.html.twig file, we probably should remove the header from this, so we've just got our header out here. Let's leave it for now. Oh, it's gone. Okay, it's cleared the cache. Looks like it fixed it. So this looks good to me now, except if I want to override any of these variables, what I could do is change them at a subtheme level. But I don't necessarily want to change spacing, let's say, because spacing, well, I might, but say here, for example, I'm saying is calc spacing times 2. What I'd rather do here is I'd rather say that the padding will be var -- header spacing. So on different websites we can have different spacings for ourselves. And I'll remove this. Now we've got to create a new variable over here. So these are going to be variables that are custom to just this website. This looks a little bit strange here, but let's go with this for a second and we'll do the subtheme then. So I'm going to say, I've got to create a header. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to call it section spacing V for vertical. And I'm going to say that is calc var spacing times 2. So on different websites I might decide that the section spacing vertical, and I could use this for main and for footer and everywhere else, will be 2 or 3 or 4 times the spacing, or a half times the spacing, whatever it is. This looks wrong. Let's see now. The autocomplete can be a little bit too helpful at times. Okay, so it's section spacing V. Oh, I'm supposed to have a call with somebody in 6 minutes. Let's get moving on this. And no, this is var section spacing V. Okay, and layout max width can stay the same, and color accent can stay the same. Yeah. Now if I refresh this, that should all be the same. I can change in my variables this to be times, we'll say, just to make sure we can see a big change, times 5. Okay, that looks good. And then if I was to, this is not going to work now in IE11, but I'm not worried about IE11 just now on this. So what I'd like to look at next then is, okay, so when I said team like a pro and think like an agency, you got an agency, you got to create a starter kit, you got to create sub teams from your starter kit team, and you don't want to have to do a huge amount of work. So let's create a new team. So inside custom, I'm going to create a new team called let's call this one Twitch. Twitch/twitch.info.yaml, and inside Twitch.info, inside Twitch, I'm going to create a CSS/variables. Well, that'd be /lib/variables.css. And inside my variables of CSS, I'm going to say root. And the only things I need to override here are the actual variables that I want to change for this website. So, for example, I'm going to say that the header was going to have a section spacing. Instead of 5, it's going to have a section spacing of 1. And I'm going to say that our accent color, color accent, is going to be yellow. Spelled correctly. Is there anything else I might change in there? So font default is serif. So here in the header, I'm going to say font family var -- font default. Now I could probably change this probably be changed maybe to header font, and then we create another variable called header font. Let's do that. No, we'll leave it at this for now. So that gets font default, and this should now be serif fonts. Yep. Let's make the font size 2 rems just so we can see things a bit easier for ourselves. Here we go. Okay, so that's nice. And then in our twitch.info.yaml, I need to add in this stuff here. So the file, the team is going to be called Twitch. The team, it's going to use, the base team is going to be Marky, and we'll call this a sub team of Marky. Now, when I enable this team, and this is the proof of concept part of it, I'm not sure if this actually works, but I think it should. So we clear the cache, we'll install the team over here. Where's this one gone? Twitch install. Oh, do you know, I'm going to need to grab the these regions as well, maybe. Okay, and that's installed. Let's clear the cache again after those regions getting added. I've done something issue there. Doesn't really matter. So let's say we'll set Twitch as default. And we should get a, oh, we don't get a background yellow header. Background color var color accent. Alright, let's clear the cache again. So why is all this happening? Oh, I know. We created a custom CSS file here, but we didn't create a library for it. So twitch.libraries.yaml. We're going to create a library called variables CSS base CSS/lib/variables.css. Okay, and then we're going to say here libraries Twitch/variables. Okay, and we'll clear the cache yet again. Okay, so now we can see that our background here is yellow and our spacing is smaller, depending on switching on and off teams. And that's going to allow us now to do whatever we want, hopefully with a sub team that is just a collection of, where is it gone? Oops. Oh, Mark, what are you doing? a subteam that is just basically one CSS file where we change what the CSS variables are going to be. So here we could say that the spacing on this team is going to be 10. So it gets bigger, and the background of it is going to be red. And then if we install or set as default our other theme, we should get the aqua background. And what this allows us to do then is we can have variables for everything, for our fonts, for our font sizes, for our layouts, for what a border looks like, for if there is a border in the first place, for drop shadows and all that kind of stuff. And we just need to create our variables, a CSS file to change what these variables will represent. So again, here we can say font default will be sans serif, I think. So it's at the moment the default font is the serif font, and if we turn back on our Twitch team, we should now get a sans serif font as our default here. Now that's not going to work in IE11, so how do we fix IE11? Well, the simple thing I think we could do is we come back to our base team, and then we have something here like max width 960 pixels, which is the same as what we have in our variable anyway. So it's duplicate of code. We could add in a comment to say IE11, and then we can do a search later on when we drop support for IE11. Why is that? Oh, it's because I'm duplicating things. So we can do a search for all these IE11 sections later on, and we can remove them. So what else do we need? Padding. Here can be padding, section spacing. I think we'll go with whatever, 2 rem we'll say for now. Background color, aqua, and font family. I think this one here was serif, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, and then each of those can have an IE11 flag. So now we've got a website that actually will work on IE11 and will look very good in the newer browsers. If you're using the other team, the sub-team, the Twitch sub-team, then what it should happen is that it will default back to the IE11 colors. So it would mean that each of your websites will look the same in IE11, but at least will look very good in IE11 and be well supported in IE11. But then any modern browser, you'll see the proper branding and color scheme that you want. So that's an approach I'm working on. I think it would work well for something like if you had a distribution for a group of websites, or for Drupal distributions that at least we support IE11, but we can still use modern principles and modern approaches to our front end. I'm wrapping up a little quicker than I expected. Sorry, I've actually got a meeting started 3 minutes ago, so I need to go to that. I got some questions. Hi Mark, hope you're keeping well. Yes, I am. Thank you. Oh, you're correcting my region IO. Thank you very much. What base starter theme do you use to create your sub-theme? I'm using Classy in this one, but in general I don't. I will use Stable because Classy is going to get removed in Drupal 10. Are you working on Drupal 8 or 9? This current demo site is Drupal 9, but the approach will work for 8 or 9. And do I want to become famous? No. Do I want to buy followers? No, but I will report you when I get a chance for spamming me. That's it, folks. Thanks, everyone. Bye.